Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vinny Appice!
Okay. Hello, everybody. Let me move this. Let me move this. It's a tight squeeze in here because I play close together with everything. So I can get faster, you know. All right. Thanks for joining me. Tuesday. Yeah. Comes by quick, man. Time goes quick when you're getting younger. I mean, older. Anyway, that was a song by Kill Devil Hill called Leave It All Behind. Really great. Rex Brown on bass from Pantera. Dewey Bragg on vocals and Mark Zavon on guitar. You notice I don't play too many fast songs. It's hard to hear in here. The reason for that is these drums are so loud by themselves. So for me to play over the drums, I got to crank it. But I also have the drums in here as well. So sometimes it gets a bit distorted. So it's hard to hear where the tempo is sometimes. You know, for these fast songs. The slow ones. Slow ones are easy. It's plenty of space. You know, the thing with slow ones is, how do you like this lightning, man? This thing's going nuts today. Wow. This thing can also be set to play to the music. Imagine that, like you're playing. Maybe it is. Crazy, this thing. Sometimes it goes into a flag mode. So the slow songs are easy because it's so much space. You could hear where the song is in between that next hit of the snare. And you can adjust your playing to catch on to that next beat, you know, so you're with the song. The fast one's just hard to hear. So that's because I got the drums pumped in. Probably if I didn't have the drums pumped in, it would be better. But I like this ambient sound. Smoking. And so that's why I don't play that many fast songs on here. I'm testing it. Maybe you hear some more fast songs. So anyway, this is brought to you by Sawtooth Drums. These are my new set. This is all mahogany. It's a beautiful set of drums. I still didn't dust them. I'm starting to think the dust is adding some dirty sound to it, which is cool. And so maybe I won't dust them for a while. But this is 6-ply hickory wood, and there's no wrap on these drums. I always use wooden drums with no wrap. I never used wrap drums up until my last kit, the Command Series with Sawtooth. And those sounded great too, but I just love the sound of these. This is a higher end kit, and this is a 12, 13, 18. This guy means business. See, it's like a statement, you know? That's the explanation point at the end of the sentence. And so these drums are great, and the rims, everything's solid, solid steel. It's got black hardware on it. The rims are blackened. The lugs are black. It's a really cool looking kit. I can't wait to take this on tour. And I don't want to see, can't wait to take it on tour and see the scratches it's going to get. But that usually doesn't happen too bad, you know. Actually, I scratch them more. If you see, there's not much space in between the bass drum and the tom-toms. So the bottom rim of the tom-toms tends to hit the bass drum because I like to play. I would like these toms over a little bit more so they're square with the snare, but I got them over a little so they don't hit here. So I play weird, you know. I don't play like the normal setup, you know. Especially when you see drums with the two toms through the middle of the bass drum. You know, what happens then is the snare drum's off. You got the bass drum, and then the snare drum can't be in the middle of the toms like this. You notice that my snare drum's right in the middle of these toms. The angle of the camera's a little weird, but mine's right in the middle, so it's like a V. Hey, V! I know that guy. Vinny. So I can't play those other drums like that. And plus, I'm using the 24-inch kick. By the time you put a stand on here, the toms will be up here. As you can see, I play low. You know, these are pretty low. I play low for the power. You know, I get the whole upper body strength when you're playing low like this. You know, like that. Lot of power that way. So I use the power when I need it, you know. I don't play, see live, we play a song or something. It's loud, like, but it's not all the same level. You got to play with dynamics, even if you're playing heavy like that. You know, like you might come out with the song. Dynamics is really important. Beginning of the song, you're playing loud, then you get to a verse, you want to tighten it up a little bit and come down. So next time you go up, it's a big difference, right? Like this. Beginning of the song. Verse. Back into the chorus. Louder. And again, back to a verse. Tighten up a little bit. What I do in verses, usually first verse, the hi-hat is played tighter, like this. Then do a chorus and go back to the second verse. I loosen the hi-hat up a little bit, so it's a little bit bigger than the first verse. That's a little trick, you know. So second verse would be. Third verse could be combination, or it could just be crazy like okay? So that's a little trick with the hi-hat, playing a song in the verses and trying to play more dynamic. Because if everything's up here, there's the verse. Not really any change, you know what I mean? Listen to Zeppelin, a lot of shit on them did. Was heavy. They went to the verses. There's a little, thing going on with the hi-hat. It was never like this, stiff. It was like. You never heard this in Stairway to Heaven. That's called the stiff hi-hat. It's like a piece of stale bread. You heard this, more of this. Hi-hat played along with the rest of the drums dynamically, see. Gives it some great feel. So try to stay away from this stuff. Beginners, you learn this way. But you start putting a little bit of feel into it, like with the grace notes, like you start messing around with the hi-hat like that. I'm not even playing some of the notes. Like I'm kind of basing this on paradiddles and shit, like this. That stuff. You see, also, I listened to a lot of metronome when I was practicing. I would just put the metronome on in the room. That's a good practice, too. Whatever you're doing, you don't scratch those drums, Vinny. You hear this in the background? Whatever you're doing. If you're watching TV, change the remote on the channels, but not in this time. Change it in 6/8. Change it at a different time. Don't follow this. Keep listening to that, and I always hear the metronome. So I always hear that in my head. Even if we're playing fast song, I hear it. So that's why I play so steady, you see. And all the fills are based on that metronome. Like, I always said this, when you get to the last tom, there's no need to rush. 'Cause sometimes I hear this from guys, That was a slight rush. Worst rush. Here's a really bad rush. You had to fill it up with 1 or 2 extra strokes to come back in time. So you want all that stuff to be, nice and steady. So you can even put the metronome on and play the rolls like that. Right? Then make them a bit complicated. Like this. The metronome. Yeah, so the metronome is great. So you practice like that a little bit. You don't want to turn into a metronome, and play stiff. You want to practice those things like that and then play by yourself. And also a good way to practice is this is the way I practiced when I grew up. I went downstairs in my spooky basement in Brooklyn. Reason why I said it's spooky because it was a really old basement. It had the stone walls all jagged, and I painted it black, of course. I must have knew what was coming in my career after at that age. Maybe I was 12 or 11, and I painted it black. And it had an old picture of my great-grandfather, like this black and white thing. And all the pictures back then were really scary. Nobody smiled. They're like, and it's all dark and shadowy, and that thing was sitting in the middle, and sometimes I'd go down there and I'd practice, and I start playing. Then I felt something weird, like a presence. I didn't see anything, but I just put the sticks down and I ran up the steps and went up. That's it. I'm out of here. But most times I didn't do that. I did practice. But the way I practiced is I might have picked up on something, maybe from my brother Carmine, and I would practice something maybe I came up with, like even a triplet, I learned a triplet, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and I would go, oh, what's this? 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and I go, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Let's see if I could use it in a beat. See? So that's just from learning a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and then I put my hands across the drums, left hand on the snare, right hand on the tom, and then the foot's taking the 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and right now you can put it on another drum, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Combine them. Or you can move your snare if you got 2 toms. See? So then all this from a triplet, One more thing you could do, start with your right hand. If your hands are in this position, that means you're starting with the tom. So now you got this, starting with the tom. And then you got the first one starting with the snare. Now you can combine them, do 4 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, combine them or put them around the drums. So much, but all that is from a triplet. So I would practice. I would stay there and do that for half an hour and go, okay, I got them fast. I got this. Got it in a beat, Then I would maybe put on some music. I must have had back then. I don't think they had cassettes, and I had a turntable, and probably didn't go very loud, but I wasn't as deaf as I am now. So I played to the music. Wasn't music I played to. I probably put on my brother's songs or Hendrix or Zeppelin, Good times, bad times. That kind of stuff. So I practiced something that I learned, and then I practiced to a song or 2 or 3, and then maybe just play anything, like I do here. So that's how I practice, because I hear guys. I have some friends that play, guys I know that play to a whole album, and they have it exactly down. But that's great and everything, but you got to be able to do that and also play on your own. Like I always suggest, you're gonna play to a song. You play this song. You want to get that exactly right, if that's what you're after, or do you want to play the song and put your own fills in there, so the song acts like a metronome. I'll play a little bit of this thing if I can find it. Watch. God knows where I am. Okay, I'm over there, so I'm going to play just rolls and crazy shit against the song. Like that, and that's fun. I do that with the bands a lot of times too. That's why when I play with Viv, he turns around with a smile like, where's one? That song, you're going, there's a lot of fills you can do at that tempo, practice. Those are like eighth notes. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Then you can go triplets. Sixteenths. And then you take those two, like the triplets, you can go. That's. See, I just break them up on the toms. Like this. Some of the stuff I play, I can't even do it. So, and the 16ths. 16ths, wait, or 30 seconds, whatever you want. Break those up. There's all ways to put these fills in, and those are things you got to practice. So if you're playing that song, you just want to go over those kind of fills. You take those eighth notes like this. Those are eighth notes. Triplets. And then the 16ths. That's the way I practice. And we have in the house Lala Lollipop in the flesh.
Hello.
You want to say hi to?
Hi.
You want to go on the camera and wave to everybody? No. Okay.
No.
I didn't do my makeup.
No,
Oh,
I'm
my
just
stuff.
gonna. It's hot. Too hot here.
It's really hot here. It's 150 degrees here in California.
Yes, bacon.
Bacon and eggs. One time last year ago, I tried to crack an egg on. It was so hot. I think it was like 115 out here, and I cracked the egg and put it on the sidewalk out in the back on the concrete, and it took a while, but it cooked. The toast burnt in the toaster, but the egg was cooked. So crazy, man. It's weather. Hope you guys all good and you're not too hot, you're not too cold, and everybody's well. And thanks again for watching and stuff. And also, Sawtooth has a Command Series set, a small set with 2 toms, a bass drum, and snare drum for $500 and change. And it's a really nice sounding set. And it's part of the set that I use too, because as you know, everything went up in price. But Sawtooth trying to keep good value in the stuff they sell, and it's a great company. And Joe Fuco runs the whole place. And check it out. Chroma Cast is one of the companies, and Sawtooth the drum part of it. So check it out online. And there's all sorts of things up on the website too. Michael Badio does something on Thursday, like a clinic like this, and it's cool stuff up there. All right, so we're going to take some questions of yours, use guys.
Use guys?
So hopefully they're really good questions.
Oh, I think so.
Also, see this cross? This guy's, Ozzy gave me this. You see this? It's a cross from Ozzy. Big cross. Oh, man. No, it's not from Ozzy. You know what this is? This is a drum key. It's a cross. It's a cool cross. It's a drum key. I wouldn't recommend wearing it around your neck and then you go, I got to tighten the snare. That ain't gonna work. I found it today. I don't know. It was in one of these boxes. I thought, look at that thing. But always take this off if you're going to try to tune the drums. I've done something where I had wearing a real cross and a silver chain, and I go down and pick something up, I'll do something, and it gets caught on the snare, and it ripped the whole thing apart. Dangers of drumming. Okay, let's take the first question.
How about a Vinny solo album?
Thank you. Thank you. Solo album. I'm thinking about it, but, who would I get to play on it? That would be cool. I'm thinking about it. I mean, we're working on a Last in Line album, too, and we're going out August 16th, I think, is the first date. Look on the website, lastinlineofficial.com. We got 4 shows coming up. And then this weekend, I'm going to Nashville with my brother Carmine, and we're doing Rockin' Pod. And a whole bunch of people are going to be there. Actually, I'm flying in, and I meet Greg Bissonette at the airport, and they're going to pick us up together. And that's pretty cool. I haven't seen Greg in a while. And what else? So that's Rockin' Pod this weekend, too. So, yeah, I'm thinking about solo record. It might be fun. Actually, maybe an EP, because it's hard. I like to write with people in the room, too, so you can change things immediately, any ideas. Can do it via the internet, but it's a lot slower, So thanks for that. Vote of confidence. Okay, next.
Who's your drum tech?
What?
Who's your drum tech?
Who's my drum tech?
Drum tech.
We're lucky enough and fortunate enough to have this amazing guy, Mark Weber, and he's in New York, and he is just unbelievable, right? He never gets the drums right. No, he gets them right. I'm only teasing him if he's watching. One guy, he drives, this is Last in Line in a Sprinter van. He drives us everywhere, to the gig, from the gig, to the hotel, from the hotel, from the gas station, to Starbucks for Viv. Viv loves to go to Starbucks in the morning, so he drives us there too. And he sets up everything, one guy. And he's amazing. We call him Super Mark. Then we went to Supermarket. But he's an amazing guy, and there's nobody else in the world like him. We love him to death. He's part of the family, you know. He's part of the band. So, and Lala comes on the road too. She's the merchandise girl
Yeah.
that you all know, right, Lala?
Yes,
Yes.
I am.
She'll sell you things you don't even want.
No, exactly.
All right, next question.
So how do you travel? By plane or van or tour bus? Bicycle.
We do a tour bus in Europe, but here we don't because it's easier to do a Sprinter van because we're not doing long tours. So we just go out for 3 or 4 shows. So we do a Sprinter van, and the cool thing with the Sprinter van is it's got room enough in the back for everything. And then it leaves 6 or 7 chairs, you know, captain's chairs. They recline in the cabin, and it's really comfortable, and it works for us. So we travel that way. Obviously, we fly to the gig to the state, like when we leave, we're flying to somewhere. I don't know where that gig is. First gig. Oh, I think it's Wisconsin. So, you know, we're taking American Airlines. We got to fly from California to DFW, Dallas, Fort Worth, then make a connection into Wisconsin somewhere.
Minnesota. We're going to
Oh, Minnesota.
And then we drive, don't
Then
we?
we drive. Then Mark will pick us up at the airport and drive us. Yeah, so that's how we do it. And then when the tour is over, Mark takes the van, he drops the gear off, and he returns the van, and we fly back. So that's the way we travel. Okay.
How do you play your triplets?
How do I play my triplets?
Mhm.
I just showed that.
You did. Well,
That's a triplet. 1 and a 2 and a 3. That quick? Yeah, triplets with the bass drum is that good times, bad times thing. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and see, and the those are triplets. Okay.
have you ever broken anything on this kit, or did Sawtooth make the ultimate Vinny-proof drum set?
Nothing's Vinny proof. Don't forget that. Sometimes they always say all these over the years of my career, they said Vinny's should be the drum tester of the company. So it works. But I tell you, I haven't broken anything on since I've been using Sawtooth. I think in the early, I've been with them about 6 or 7 years, maybe 7 years, and maybe the pedal broke once in 7 years or twice. Not even, I don't think it was once, and I haven't broken anything. You know, I mean, what happens is wear and tear. Like sometimes, eventually, like with any stands, they wear out a little bit on the grip. And since I'm really hitting it live with body weight, you know, they might loosen up a little bit. So then it's time to replace it at some point. But the Sawtooth hardware, Sawtooth drums are great. I haven't broken anything. Chromacast, that one, that's the hardware. The hardware is Chromacast. This hardware is really cool. Cymbal stand, if you notice, it's just got, I don't know if you can't see it on that one. Well, trust me, it's right there. And it's a lever. And you loosen it, and you can go up and down and twist at the same time. The stand twist, not you, not this twist. And it's a great feature because you can just loosen it and go where you want, tighten it. You could do it in between a song. Do it in the song. Who cares? As long as you cover yourself. Keep the bass drum going. You know? One of those. You know, and then normally you break a stick. 5B sticks. These are Chromacast too. I would break one once in a while. You've seen it on live here where I broke it. And I get a lot of comments on how I recover. You know, because on the moment you want to keep that beat going, so you keep that left hand, grab the stick or whatever. I usually keep the sticks to my right. So, okay, next.
Jay said he broke his first stick.
Jace broke his first stick?
Yes.
Damn, what took you so long, Jace? Just because you're this big. Congratulations, Jace. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's part of drumming. If you want to do this professionally, it's good to break sticks here and there because then you got to figure out how am I going to get the other stick in my hand. You know, if you're playing a show live, stick breaks. Oh shit, you got to pull that stick out from somewhere. So it's a good practice. Congratulations to Jace. He broke his first stick. That's cute. I can't count how many sticks I've broken in all the years I've played. Okay. And I used to use actually Ed Thickpin Ludwig sticks back with Sabbath. They were 11As, I think. Really thin sticks. I don't know what. I was able to go fast, but man, they didn't last long. That was in 1980. Okay.
Have any new merch for Last in Line coming up?
We got new merch for Last in Line. It's going to be up on the website. We're going to have shirts, new shirt design. We're going to have pens. Why not? It says Last in Line on it. And
Bags?
we're going to have shopping bags. Because we did the shopping bag thing in Europe and we sold out of them. It was just for fun. We said, let's make those shopping bags with canvas. And everybody bought them because they were cheap. That, and we have anything else? Pictures.
New pictures.
New pictures. So we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. So come out and see Lala.
Yep.
She'll make you a deal you can't refuse. Okay.
Do you have a routine practice schedule, or do you practice around your gig schedule?
You know what? I practice. I got a pad over there. Actually, I wanted to show you something.
Oh, yeah, that was another question about your practice pad to warm up, and what kind of practice pad?
The practice pad is just soft rubber, okay? It doesn't matter. I like the soft rubber one. But then one day I took the Syncopation book. This is an old book, and this page here on this one here, I'll show it to you if you can see it.
Better, yeah. There you go.
Those are 16th note, 8th note exercises, okay? The one with the paper clip on it. And I wanted to warm up my left hand, so I thought I sat there in front of the book and the pad, and I just played it. Right, at that speed. Line 2. And I thought, let me just do the whole page. And it doesn't sound hard. I was playing a little faster than that. But by the time I got down to here, I was starting to get, feel it in my left hand. Because my left hand's weaker. And that worked out to be a great exercise. I did it today when I came in, I had some coffee. And that's going to be my, routine from now. And then I'll do the next page. I can do the right hand. But this really warms up the left hand. I'm playing the book with one hand. And this book can be played with one hand. These are the same 16th notes in the back with accents on them and stuff. This book's called Syncopation. The cover's over there because it's old and it fell apart. Oops. So that's one of my routines. Then I just play, like I said. I lost my stick somewhere. I'll just play, and then get into whatever I'm into, Lately I like these triplets. Those are 16th notes, I'll just get into anything, just play and find something I like, and come up with things, and then I just keep practicing. This one is more of a memory, muscle memory thing. See? Starting on the floor. And I'll sit there and just do this. See, my hands are spread out. And at the end, I'm two hands on the floor. So if I keep doing that, sit there and do that 10, 15 times, becomes a muscle memory thing. Then you can put that in your head, that lick you want to do, and you're ready for it. So it's good because of the positioning. And these, that's 16th notes. So it's a good idea to run the licks over and over and over. Even the one I showed you before, the triplet. One and practice them all different ways, and your muscles are ready for that. It's a muscle memory thing, and it works. I'm telling you. Okay, let's take one more question. We're not going out to eat tonight.
No, we're not.
We're going to make something at home because I got to do an interview at 6 p.m.
Do you ever play with those crappy fiberglass sticks back in the 80s?
I practiced. I got a deal. Not a deal. They wanted me to try the aluminum sticks. And I did. And they don't break. But it had a sleeve on it. I think I told this to you guys once before. It had a sleeve that went over here. It assumed you play this way. I don't play that way. I play with the butt end. So even though it had a sleeve, and when you played it, you know, you dent the sleeve, and then you're supposed to take the sleeve off, and you can get another sleeve and put it on so they'll never wear out. Well, I used it, and I dented the sleeve into the aluminum so I couldn't get the sleeve off. They were fused together, and then I noticed I was bending the stick. I was bending the aluminum. Then I realized it's not really good for your wrists. You know, the wood is softer, it absorbs the shock, and it's better for your wrists. If the thing is there's too much pressure, the stick's going to break, not your wrist. So beware when you play these other sticks, especially if you play hard, you know, like La-La.
Like me?
Like La-La.
No.
So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me. You guys are so cool, and congratulate Jace on breaking his first stick. That's amazing. And maybe you could print one on the 3D printer. That would be like fiberglassy. And you guys, thanks a lot. And I'll see you next week. Am I doing this next week?
You come back
Yes.
on Monday. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. Yes, I'll see you next week because, you know, we're all starting to get a little busy. We've got to shuffle schedules around. Okay, guys, thanks very much. And how about Computer God, the intro?